Welcome to our Facebook Live for The Good Fight. Right now we're talking to the one and only Christine Baranski, who of course plays Diane Lockhart on the series. Welcome, Christine.
Thank you.
So you just got done with the panel here at TCA's. How was the show received in the room?
What was great about it is they were so invested already with the Good Wife that they had a springboard, and so many of their questions already were invested with a curiosity about characters or a character such as myself that they really knew already. And where was it going to go from there? You know, we were on the air for 7 years in The Good Wife, and so there was a lot of emotional investment in the writing and in the characters and in that legal world and in that moral universe. And so I thought that they were really engaged. I loved the questions. I loved the questions that they asked me, and I think we're good to go.
Awesome. So tell us where Diane is at when The Good Fight starts.
Well, it's a year after the famous slap, and so she's estranged from Kurt McVeigh. She's estranged from her husband because of that infidelity that occurred, and she's at the top of her game. You see her, actually, the pilot was rewritten. The very first scene will be her watching the inauguration of Donald Trump, and the next scene is Diane in the south of France looking for real estate. But the fact is, a year later, after The Good Wife ends, she, you know, gets herself back together, leading an independent life. She gets her firm back better than ever. She has 8 name partners on the wall, and she's ready to retire. You see Diane in an enormous conference room in the pilot saying, "I'm retiring, I have nothing left to prove." And, you know, I think she's going to spend half her time, her intention is to spend half her time in France in her vacation home, and then half her time in Chicago, maybe fighting for women's causes or doing whatever but she's going to, you know, she does not have to work as hard anymore. And then it's not even halfway into the pilot that that it all goes south. So it's a spectacular fall from grace, and that's where much of the drama of the pilot is her personal fall, as well as the fall of her goddaughter, who she brings into the firm, who just graduated from law school, and she's the daughter of this Madoff couple who orchestrate this Ponzi scheme. So yeah, there's a lot happens in the pilot. It's very dramatic.
So this is a real earned emotional response when Diane is all set to retire and then realizes she can't. Like, how do you get into that? She's been like fighting the good fight for so long. How do you explore that pain? Like, that is a huge change in someone's life, and then to get it taken away just seems terrible.
It was just the hardest work I've ever had to do on film. Indeed, it's like, what do you do when pretty much everything that defined you is taken out from under you. You have no job, your old firm won't let you back, you lose your money, it's been locked up, your assets are frozen, you've been told you have to sublet your apartment, you can't quit work, her marriage is on the rocks. It's what happens to people when they lose their foundation. And I think it's just happening at such an interesting time culturally that this pilot is that we're doing it, that we're showing at a time when the country collectively feels that it's perhaps in free fall. We've just been through an election. No matter which way you voted, it still was a traumatic, shocking kind of turn of events in American history, and I think a lot of people are feeling unmoored, you know, psychically feeling unmoored and insecure. So we were actually shooting the pilot just before, during, on the day of, and days after the election. It was almost a surreal experience shooting this pilot, and I think the psychological journey of Diane and her goddaughter will reflect a lot of kind of the collective insecurity of people watching the show.
So you're coming home in a way, but it's to a slightly different cast of characters. How does that change the dynamic, and how does it feel for you?
I just think it's been such a graceful transition. I think Juliana carried that show for 7 years on her back so gracefully, and she passed the baton to me, and it's been a graceful transition. I feel, of course, after playing Diane for 7 years, I'm invested in the character. I'm comfortable with it. That said, within the pilot, her life goes through such a spectacular change that you see Diane in a way that you've not seen her before. And then she has to look for work and enter an entirely new workplace, not just a new workplace, but a workplace not only where she's not a named partner anymore, she's not the boss, she's walking in, she's one of the few white people at an all African American firm. So there's that. It's a shocking 180. And, you know, as an actress, it's fantastic because you want dramatic stuff. You want stuff to happen to your character. That's what makes for interesting acting, and you want to take your character places. So it couldn't be a better springboard. I mean, I think it was sort of a brilliant concept that the Kings had, and it came rather late in the game. When I agreed to do this show, there was no idea for it. They just said, we want to do a spin-off, we want to do it with you, and I had a kind of career decision to make on one particular weekend. I had to decide between one job and another. And one was much more known quantity, and the other was like, well, yes, but I still want to work with the Kings, and if we can continue everything that was good about The Good Wife, why don't we do it? We have a fan base. We know that with great writing and great acting, we can come up with something really good, so that's where we are.
Awesome. So for the trailer alone, it's clear that you get to say some things and do some things that you weren't allowed to do on The Good Wife. How does that feel? Do you feel like it's more true to the King's vision, more true to real life for you?
Well, without network constraints, I never felt terribly constrained on The Good Wife, because I think my character, she's a rather elegant, well-educated woman. She wouldn't swear, but it is very liberating. If you do find out that you've lost all of your money and you're alone in a room, it is conceivable that you would use the F word. It was very liberating.
So lastly, what does the title The Good Fight mean to you and mean to your character?
I think it means at any point in your life, you may have to begin again and redefine your life and redefine what's important to you. And you may have to start up again and fight a good fight. And in terms of the age we are living in now, women have to continue a good fight. We thought we had reached, we thought we were going to break a glass ceiling. It didn't happen. There's not going to be a woman president putting her hand on the Bible on the 20th of January, and women will have to continue. Not that it would have everything would have been solved with a female president, but it would have symbolically, as well as I think practically, meant a lot of really good changes for women. It seems now women are going to have to continue a good fight and find the energy to fight a good fight. Everybody in the country, everybody in the world will have to figure out how, with the mess that we're in on so many levels, globally and internationally and nationally, we still have to fight a good fight. So I think it's a wonderful title.
Excellent.
Thank you.
We want to thank you so much for coming by and
Thank
chatting
you.
with us. And remember, The Good Fight debuts on February 19th on CBS All Access. We'll be right back with Rose Leslie. See you soon. For The Good Fight, right now we're going to chat with Rose Leslie, who plays Maya on the series. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So first off, just set up your character for us. Who do you play, and where is she at when the series starts?
Of course. So I play Maya Rindell, and Maya Rindell, obviously, she's a new character, so to speak, within this world of The Good Wife and The Good Fight. And we first meet her when she is a law student, and she's literally on the cusp of taking her bar exam. And she lives a very kind of like cozy, cushy, very privileged life until there is a revelation of her father being associated with a Ponzi scheme. And then suddenly her world and everything that she knows is kind of spun out of control. And so, yes, that is very much kind of like where we find her in the pilot of The Good Fight. And it's basically kind of, on that journey of how she's able to grapple all those different aspects in her life and kind of hopefully gain some footing.
What drew you originally to this role, and how did you react when you found out you were cast?
Well, I think the Kings originally drew me to this role. I think they write superbly. Obviously, being a massive fan of The Good Wife, I am kind of like leapt at the opportunity and feel very, very privileged and honoured to be here right now. And so I think, if anything, it was to do really, obviously, being able to work with them, being able to work with Christine Baranski and Kush, and immersing myself into this world, this kind of like within Chicago and the law firm, and obviously just the fact that the premise is modern day. I haven't worn high heels in a very long time. I get to wear very pretty dresses, so it was nice change.
Speaking of that, what will fans of your other work find really exciting about Maya?
Well, I think they will find, well, firstly, I think that we see a young, intelligent woman and an ambitious woman really struggle with juggling everything that has happened to her in terms of her love life, in terms of her career, where the relationship that she had with her parents, how that is slowly like deteriorating in front of the viewer's eyes, and really kind of watching a woman and a character find some foundation, being able to pick herself up and carry on as a motivated woman.
So obviously this is a spin-off from The Good Wife.
It
How
is
did
indeed.
it feel kind of entering this family as the new person?
Oh man, it felt cool. It felt so cool. I was very happy, kind of like first day on set and on stage where we were there in the law firm was, yeah, it was thrilling. Really, really thrilling for me.
When you were watching The Good Wife, who are some of the characters that you respected the most?
Well, do you know what? This sounds like I'm going to be unbelievably biased, but it was always Diane Lockhart. Always. And my character, I don't know if I mentioned, my character is Diane's goddaughter.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lovely connection between the two of them. So that was something that gave me kind of like, yeah, a massive kind of leap of joy in the middle of the street when I found out.
So the Kings don't really, they kind of put their characters through the ringer.
Yes.
And Maya faces a lot of adversity even in the pilot.
Yeah.
How exciting is it to play a character with that much going on?
Oh, it's so exciting because you can never kind of like get bored of your storyline. Not that, you've got to find a way as an actor to make sure that you can keep it compelling and interesting, not only for you, but also for the viewers. But there's so much kind of like happening to her at any one given moment that it's gold dust for any actor to be able to play those different layers.
They seem to, a theme of The Good Wife and this show, it seems, is resilience. It seems like they're going to carry on that tradition.
Hopefully, but they will.
Where do you draw your inspiration from to play such a strong character, such a person who can like persevere through anything?
Oh, where do I pull it from? Do you mean personally?
Personally,
As Rose?
Yeah, how do you prep for something like that?
Oh wow, I would say some amazing women. I mean, first and foremost, I have to give a shout out to my mother. Of course, she's an incredible woman, but I love Michelle Obama. And I would say as a woman to strive to and to kind of take a lot of kind of inspiration from, I think that she's an extraordinary woman.
Cool. I have a Facebook Live question. Chloe Fields asks, what are some of your favorite aspects of The Good Fight?
Hello, Chloe. I would say my favorite aspects are, okay, so I get to work with Bernadette Peters, which is wonderful. She plays my mother. And so being able to have a rather tumultuous relationship with my mother is something that, on screen, obviously, is something that is very kind of like appealing and different, and I haven't done that before with my character, so I think that's a lovely aspect. Another aspect would have to be the fact that I get to wear really pretty dresses and high heels.
So what have you learned from sort of Christine, as like obviously Diane was a standout character to you. What have you learned from Christine since coming on board?
I've learned that I want to be her. I have learned that she is a incredible woman. She's formidable. She is hardworking. She is the utter professional, and she does it with such grace and poise. And I think she's absolutely kind of timeless.
When you step onto set and then, you know, you're stepping actually into a courtroom, what was
Yes.
that feeling like the first time you're like, I am a lawyer in a
Oh my
courtroom?
God. Do you know what? I happened to get away with it in terms of I was very, very nervous, but because my character was also incredibly nervous as well, I was able to kind of allow my own kind of like trepidation to seep through into the actual acting. I should say that I was Maya like 100% of those scenes, but yes, there was a nice element of me freaking out, but the character was freaking out as well. So I was like, I'm going to use this.
You got to pass.
I got a pass, exactly.
I love that. So lastly, what do you think the title The Good Fight refers to in terms of your character?
In terms of my character, I would say that the good fight is for her being able to juggle and keep a lid on things that matter to her in her life. So obviously she's a highly dedicated lawyer. She's just starting out, but I would say that the justice matters to her, and also being able to find a balance between her personal life and her professional life.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank everybody for watching our Facebook Live.
Thank you everyone for watching Facebook Live.
Now remember, The Good Fight debuts on February 19th on CBS All Access. Thank you, and thank you.
Thank you very much.